Good afternoon and Merry Christmas. My name is Mo. First off, I'd like to start by saying I'm not a content creator. I don't know how to make videos. I'm totally amateur at this. I'm also not very computer savvy, so my print-offs of the poem and such are amateur at best. First off, I'd like to apologize for the generator noise in the background. I do live off-grid, and also the noise of my dog eating peanut butter out of a Kong. It's the only way to keep her distracted while I talk to the camera. She gets very jealous if I talk to anything, give anything my attention besides her. So anyways, I'll jump into this. I guess the best place to start is how I got into the chase. I first heard about it in 2011, radio advertisement, but not really advertisement. Some DJs were talking about it. Little 5-minute blurb. I looked it up online real quick and thought, yeah, that'd be really cool to go find a couple $1 million worth of gold, but I was in no position to go tromping around the Rocky Mountains to look for buried treasure. So fast forward a few years, 2018, I had just closed down a food truck and was pursuing other jobs while I redesigned my business. Anyways, went to North Dakota. Job turned out to be bait and switch. They wanted me to haul, I was a heavy equipment operator, and they wanted me to drive truck hauling radioactive material without placards. They were trying to hide it from the government. I said, no way, no how, I'm out of here. And I was driving back across Montana, heading towards Idaho, and was passing, going through the town of Livingston on I-90. And that's the entrance to, the north entrance to Yellowstone, or close to it, as that's where you turn off of I-90. Anyways, started thinking about Yellowstone, and I had already, the thought of the Forrest Fenn treasure popped back in my mind. I thought, I wonder if anybody ever found that treasure chest that, and of course, I didn't know anything about the treasure hunt, so I was convinced it was in Yellowstone, because that's the area he liked. Wonder if anybody ever found that treasure chest in Yellowstone. And so I got home and looked it up. Ended up getting sick on my way home, so I was down for a week being sick, but while I was sick, I was watching YouTube videos and learning about the treasure hunt. And I decided I was going to check it out. I needed something to keep my mind busy. I actually have a mild form of autism. I'm really good at puzzles and putting things together and like designing a business, like the layout of a food truck and getting together the legals of it and such. But I'm really good at putting together puzzles. I remember a lot of obscure details, or again, I don't know if obscure is the right word. I'm terrible terminology, but I remember a lot of details about things that most people don't. I can walk into a room once and just casually leave for a week, and I can come back. If one thing in the room has changed, I can tell you what it was. It's just one of those, it's not a photographic memory because I can't tell you what was in the room or what was where, but I just can remember what, when I go back, that something's different. Anyways, I tend to ramble. I apologize. I'll get through this as quickly as possible. So I decided I was going to jump into the treasure hunt into January of 2018. I thought, well, if people have millions of people have been searching for this thing already, they've obviously got a system down of how they're searching for it, and I knew there was a poem, and so I decided that I also do things my own way. I'm very independent. I do things different than a lot of people. Another part of my autism, and my anyways. 2018, I got into it. I decided I was going to spend 1 year doing it the way everybody else is doing it and get caught up with the Fenn community. I was going to catch up with what everybody else knows. And then I was going to take the second year and I was going to do it my own way. And if at the end of 2 years I hadn't had anything figured out, I was going to, that's about as much time as I needed to reopen my business anyways. So this was going to keep my mind busy until I could get my business reopened. And anyway, so I gave myself 2 years and I was going to just scrap it. At the end of 2 years, that was going to be the end of it. And of course, you all are laughing at me right now because you know how ridiculous that is. But anyway, so sure enough, I jumped in. Jumped in right at the end of January. Might as well call it February 2018. By October, I had, of course, that was probably my 20th solve by then. I had my first 3 or 4 solves within the first day. But anyways, real serious solve, as the Fenn community calls it, solution to the poem. by matching lines with places on maps. And I always knew that wasn't quite right, but the right way to solve it. But I was trying to catch up with what everybody knew. I knew winter was coming in Idaho, and it was time to either go check out my solve before winter, or I was going to be in misery mentally over it all winter long. So I figured it was time to jump in the car and go check out my solve real quick before winter set in. So I did. It was October, middle October. I was headed across Montana. I was headed towards Sinks Canyon. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was it. That was the spot. And I was headed there, and about halfway there, something told me, nope, dude, this is wrong. This isn't the way to solve it. You need to go back and start over. And I decided then, when I actually pulled over on the side of the highway and gave it a half an hour thought, do I just go ahead and turn around right now and save some money, or do I just go ahead and check out my solve? I decided to go ahead and go check it out. Let's finish the trip. Let's go get some information. If nothing else, I'll have a good trip. I love road tripping. So I did. Went down to Sinks Canyon. That area is so cool. I came back a different route through the Wind River Range, and oh my God, that was amazing. Love the Rocky Mountains. I've lived in them my whole life, and just this is my home. Anyways, had a great trip. I got home. First thing I did after unpacking and resting was I took all my notes and everything outside and I burned them. I kept the book, of course, and my mental notes, but everything I had on paper was gone. And I started over, and I was going to do it the way that Forrest told us to. And basically everything we need is in the poem. So I got rid of the book. I didn't get rid of the book, of course. Still got my book, but I didn't use anything from the book. I didn't use any outside influence. I watched his interviews, but only to study him. I had a suspicion that he was I love Forrest to death, and I hope you don't take any of what I say wrong, because he's sly. He's and I know the type. He likes to play with people, and I know this because I do the same thing. I play with words. Somebody will say something, and I'll take it in a totally different context. It's like my brain sees every possible context of what they said, and what it could mean, and I pick the funniest one and I repeat it in a sexual way or a comical way in some sort. Anyways, I play with words, I play with people. It's a lot of fun, and it's made a lot of good jokes over the years. Anyways, so I was watching a Gypsy's Kiss interview. It was November 2nd, I think, of 2013. Forrest was in a bookstore. Somebody asked him a question. I watched his reaction, and he literally, you could see him react naturally, and he quickly hid his reaction. I'll get more to that later. But at that point, I knew Forrest was my type of guy. He's a smart ass. He's playful. He's intellectual. He's a wordsmith. Which brings us to a poem, why he used a poem for his map. Anyways, 2019, I got into the chase again. I had figured a couple things out. It was a hard switch to make my mind think differently, because I'd already spent a year training my brain to do to work the poem the way everybody else had, by matching lines with map dots. This is where the backwards bicycle thing came in, where Forrest told us about Smarter Every Day's YouTube channel, and how he created a bicycle that when you steer it right, it turns left. And it was called the backwards bicycle, and it was about retraining the brain, and how a child's mind is more, I think they call it neuroplasticity. Anyways, the child's brain is more palatable to how to do things differently. It's kind of why the old boomers say, "Oh, we've always done it this way. Why should we do it a different way?" You know, well, they don't have the neuroplasticity. They got so set in their ways that they can't. It's too hard to change how they do things, and it's no fault of their own. It's just our nature of our brains. So, anyways, the backwards bicycle. So I was thinking about that. How does that relate? And all I could figure was that we have to look at this backwards. We have to look at it from a different way. We have to force ourselves to think differently. So I started getting into it that way. In 2019, I ended up taking 5 week-long trips to the Yellowstone area. 3 of them were for treasure hunting, but those 3, actually the first one was enough to make me decide to spend more time exploring. I loved exploring the Rocky Mountains. I have a Jeep Wrangler. You know, it's a It's built for going anywhere. I absolutely love my Jeep, and so my first trip was early spring. It was 2019. It was too wet and cold. I took my pickup. Second trip, halfway down, hit a deer, came back home, got another rig, went back down. I think I took my pickup, or no, I took my Jeep that time, but it had the top on. Third trip, topless Jeep. Oh my God, that changes the whole Yellowstone experience. It's something magical to be driving under giant cliffs and being able to look up through the roof and see to the top instead of having to lean out the window. Anyways, absolutely love my trips. Ended up taking a couple extra trips to explore the areas outside of Yellowstone Park. Go over, check out Cody, Dead Indian Pass, Daisy Pass, Cook City. Just checking out, even over to Island Springs, I think is what it's called, over in Idaho. Anyways, enjoyed my trips, loved them all. But I had figured out a lot with the poem, but I just kept thinking that what I had was going to get me there. And I was still wrong. I still hadn't figured out the actual structure of the poem. So in August or September was my last trip. And I went back home and thought, okay, I really need to get serious about this and look for the structure of the poem, because Forrest said he felt like an architect. He mentioned structure a couple different times. So there's got to be something we're missing. And so I finished out 2019, and around November, December, somewhere in there, I figured it out. It all just unfolded right in front of me. It was the backward bicycle. I figured out how to ride the backwards bicycle. It just fell open. And once I saw it, it was like there's no way to go back. I can't. There's no way to go back to riding the regular bike after riding this other bike that is blatant and right in our face. Oh, apologies for the clock. It's going to sing you a little song. Anywho, January 2020. I'm chomping at the bit for winter to end. The park is closed except for snowmobiles and such. I knew it was in Yellowstone, and the poem it's undeniable. It tells you right where to go. And so COVID hit, park's closed until June. And of course, I'm just chomping at the bit. I know right where to go. The poem leads you to a spot about 2 feet wide, but that's a straight line, and it's just a matter of following that straight line until you step on it. And when he says it leads you within the foot, it does to a point. It really does. The path's probably only a foot wide now that I think about it. It's not even really a path. It's not supposed to be there. It's an animal trail. And you don't have to follow it very far. But anyways, it leads you right to it. It tells you everything you need to know all inside the poem. So 2020, I'm chomping at the bit. June 1st comes, park opens. I tell my boss, I need to go. He says, I need you for the next week and a half. Then you can take some time. And I said, okay, no problem. It's already been 10 years. Nobody's stumbled on it. So it's good for another 2 weeks. And I was packed and ready anyways, but I had to finish work. It was, even if I was wrong about the treasure hunt, I still had to keep my job. We all know how that goes. So I waited, and that was the worst mistake of my life. In that time, sure enough, Jack Stoof stumbled on the treasure chest, and he did. I really don't think he figured out all the clues. He might have figured out most of them. Anyways, I was heartbroken, along with everybody else. We were all distraught. I mean, we all had put a certain number of our eggs in that basket. I put a lot more of mine in that basket because I had seen something nobody else had seen with the poem, and it was undeniable. So it was really devastating to me. I already, besides the mild autism, I suffer from depression, and I don't interact with society very well, and that's caused a lot of depression over the years. And so to have something like this pull the rug out from under me again in life was very hard. I pretty much just closed the book on the Forrest Fenn thing. I just put it all away and got through my depression as much as I could, with just by getting away from it. The book was closed. I wasn't going to get any money for it, so there's no reason to put any more effort or anything into it. I had to unbreak my heart at that point. So I got out of the the chase for quite a while. I would pick up a video every now and then, but Cal Lasers, love him, and the others that were still around then. So I pretty much get myself away from it. I've got my heart out of it. Fast forward to the 2021, the 1-year anniversary of the treasure chest being found. There was a gathering in West Yellowstone. I thought, hey, this is a good time for me to finish getting closure and to go share with everybody else what I found in the poem. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm a nobody, but there's some big players in West Yellowstone, Cynthia and a few others. And I'm terrible with names. So anyways, those are the ones I remember. So I went ahead and loaded up my dog and my Jeep, and we went down to West Yellowstone and met with everybody. Dinner, drinks, whatever, a couple days, the trip is. Last night that we're there, I pulled Justin off to the side. I think he seems like a good dude, nice, mild-mannered guy. He can get livened up a bit with a couple cocktails. Anyways, he's a good dude. And so I pulled him off the side before everybody was wrapping up for the evening, and I said, hey, I want you to look at this. It'll only take a couple minutes. He said, sure, no problem. And I showed him. Oh my God, how did nobody else see this? How is it right there and nobody else saw it? And anyways, I've got to head out tomorrow. Call me in the morning and we'll get together and we'll go through this. I want to know more. And I said, sure, no problem. He gives me his phone number. Sure enough, next day I get up, I call him, leave a voicemail. Call him an hour later, leave another voicemail. Try sending texts, nothing, not getting any response. And come to find out, I ended up Googling the phone number later. Come to find out, he gave me a phone number that goes to a radio station somewhere that they set up this phone number so that women or anybody could give it out as a fake phone number to people. And then, for like at the bar at night, chick gives a dude a phone number. He calls the number expressing his love or whatever onto the voicemail. Well, the voicemail then gets broadcast on the radio. That's the phone number that Justin gave me. Now, granted, there was some alcohol involved. I can understand. Maybe he thought I was hitting on him or something. I don't know. But I had the best intentions and I just got played. So whatever. It doesn't matter. Didn't matter. They didn't want to listen. That's just fine. I totally understand. I don't want to listen to other people's solves. So anyways, I went on home. Thought, you know what? Fine, I'll put it to bed. And time went by. And I pretty much was totally done with the chase. And then one day, about 6 months ago, a Monday, Cow Lasers video pops up on YouTube. Hey, you know what? I'll see what those crazy folks are up to. And I was blown away by how many people are. Now, there's not as nearly as many people that were in the chase, but there's still quite a few that really want closure. And I was like, oh my God, here I have something I can share with them that can actually put closure, give people closure on this. At least they can see something that different than they haven't seen before. I've got something for the community, and I decided I needed to share it. Of course, I thought, is there any way to make money on it? Of course, there really isn't. Nobody's going to pay you money to listen to a solve. I decided a few months ago that it was time to share this, but every time I get ready to share it, I get terrible anxiety and feels like my heart's going to jump out of my chest. So it's taken quite a while to get here. Finally, I decided either I've got to do it, I've got to quit thinking about it. Either I got to just release what I know, share what I know, or just put it all to bed and never think about it again. I've got to do one or the other. So I decided it's best for the community if I just go ahead and share what I have here. Right or wrong, doesn't matter. I'm here to share. I'm going to share what I believe to be the structure of the poem. Forrest said there's structure to it. It's once you see it, you can't deny it. It's just right in our face. So either way, this video is already 20 minutes in, and I meant for it to be short. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in here. Best way to do it is color code and show you what I found. So a couple of Forrest quotes, or I'm not even going to say quotes because some things Forrest said, I'm just going to give you the gist of it. Somebody asked him a question about, let's start with that interview I talked about, November 2nd, 2013. I think it was the Gypsy Kiss video, Forrest being interviewed. Somebody in the crowd asked Forrest if he was worried that once the location of the chest is known, if he's worried about millions of people trampling the area. And I watched his reaction. His first reaction was he stopped it. It was anyways, you could see his mouth. I wish the video was still up. You could see his mouth go one direction, and then he quickly catches himself and he stops his natural reaction. And then he answers the question. And what that told me is that Forrest is sly. He's just like me. He likes to play with words, play with people. So he was playing with us. That treasure was somewhere where millions of people already go every year. That's what I got from it. I watched his natural reaction. I watched him hide his natural reaction. Is he worried about it being trampled by millions of people? At first he was like, well, no, because it already is being trampled by millions of people. But he had to answer. He couldn't give us any sort of clue. So he had to detour from that. I can't remember what he said. Doesn't really matter. That's what I got from it. That's all I'm sharing. Another quote, somebody asked Forrest, if we only had the clue of begin at where warm waters halt, would we be able to find that location? He said something to the effect of, you can't make a cake with only one ingredient. And that told me that to figure out what this cake is right here, we need some other ingredients. We need some other, this is one ingredient, we need other ingredients. And if everything that we need is in the poem, that means the other ingredients have to be in this poem. That is one of the big things that told me that we're overlooking something. There's something here that we're overlooking, and he likes to play with people. So it's all, when he says it's all here, it's all here. I guarantee it, it's all right here. And that's what that quote told me. The next thing is he says something to the effect of, it's not what people are talking about, it's what they're whispering. And so that told me that somebody had figured something out that nobody else had seen, but they didn't take it far enough. They'd whispered about it, but they hadn't talked about it. You know, it wasn't far, but it was too far to walk. Just, yeah, poem jokes. So anyways, I started looking at it differently, and all I remember the people whispering about something was the contradictions in the poem. And I can't remember what those are now. It's been so long since I've actually pulled this out and looked at it from that point of view. Like I said, it's been 3 years since I've figured out the structure of the poem, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So once I knew what the poem was, I just kind of forgot about everything else. But anyways, there's contradictions in here. Not like, well, not far, but too far to walk. It kind of contradicts itself. Taking the canyon down and the no paddle up. You know, there's contradictions. So I thought, I'm going to look at all these lines and I'm going to find those contradictions and I'm going to mark them. And all of a sudden, it started opening up to me. There isn't just 2 or 3 contradictions. There's a lot of them. Some of them you got to use a little bit of imagination, but not much. But it's right there. A child could solve this. And he said he's absolutely right. A child could solve this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on in with what I found and just go through it. Try to shorten up this video as much as possible. Anyways, we're gonna start with a blue marker, as I have gone alone in there. Gone alone in where? You know, I'm not sure. And with my treasures bold. So I need to find things that match with this. So I'm going to start with gone. As I have gone alone in there, there's something about go. So we got gone right here. And then down here we have go. I hope this is all in screen. I might have to, let's go ahead and adjust this camera to where I can. Hold on. I'm going to move you. There we go. Let's see if that's a little bit better. Might not be able to see it as clearly, but anyways, you'll be able to get the point. So we're going to mark this one with a blue dot. We're going to mark this one with a blue dot. We got gone and we got go. So the next one, and with my treasures bold, I look through all the lines, see if there's anything that has to do with any of those words, bold or treasures, and I found trove. We got treasures and we got trove. Down here we got trove. Right here we got treasures. I need to change markers. We'll just go ahead and jump in with brown. That's a brown treasure and a brown trove. Well, of course, brown's not working. I'll go, let's jump in with black. That'll cover those up. So we'll go with black treasures and then black on trove. Mark those. Okay, I'll go with orange. We're gonna go with I can keep my secret where. That sounds like a question. I can keep my secret where? Like where's my secret? So we look around for something that might go with that question, and I found an answer. Secret where? Answer. Okay. Well, that's kind of strange that so far these 3 lines have matched up with these 3 lines. That's kind of interesting. Carry on. Hot pink. Hint of riches new and old. Well, I'm just going to jump down here. Oh, look at that. Tired and weak. New and old. Tired and weak. I'm marking it. Mark it, dude. Sorry, I repeat movie lines a lot. Probably won't be my last one. Market dude, that comes from The Big Lebowski. Anyways, next one. Now we're getting into the guts of the poem. Begin it where warm waters halt. So we need to find something that has to do with that. And oh, look at that. There's waters. Water's high. Or water high. So we got our purple water. We got water. I'm marking those ones. Oh, wait. That's not matching up. Keep going. Go with the red. Dark red. Let's go. Take it in the canyon down. And we're something. Oh, there we go. No paddle up. Yeah, down, up. Alright, we're going to mark that. Look at that. Well, now this poem or stanza is matching with that one, but it's upside down. Well, structure of the poem isn't impossible. It may be difficult, but it's not impossible. Okay, not far, but too far to walk. Does that match with the end is ever drawing nigh? Kind of does. Kind of sounds like it's a little bit of a distance. The end is ever drawing nigh. That kind of sounds like it's a bit of a distance, so we're going to go with distance on that one. And let's see, put in below the home of Brown. Well, you're putting in somewhere. You're going in somewhere. So from there, it's no place for the meek. So maybe it's kind of a scary place. You're putting in a place, putting in below something, and it's a place. Yep, so I'm going to mark those. And it looks like I'm down to one color. We got yellow left. But anyways, so the next one. If you've been wise and found the blaze, it's been wise and found. So hear me all and listen. So we got and on that one. Match those up. Now we're going to go back into the colors. Let's go to green again. Let's go look down, your quest to cease. Oh, your effort will be worth the cold, or you're braving in the wood. I'm not sure. I'm sure just take the chest and go in peace. I give you title to the gold. Those things seem to go together. You can take it peacefully because it belongs to you. So these are the two lines. You know what? Forrest did say that there are very few words in the poem that don't help with locating the treasure. So we're down to very few words here. So I'm okay with this. So I'm gonna just play with this one. Look quickly. But Terry Scant with Marvel guys. Terry Scant means don't linger staring at it. Don't hang around staring at it. Your effort will be worth the cold, or if you were brave. I think it's if you're brave. I already got a green down there. I think it's if you're brave. If you're brave, don't hang around. I mean, it's cool that you went in there, but don't linger around in wherever you are. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. All right, we'll just jump to this light blue again. Look quickly down. Your quest to cease. That one goes there. All right. So now we got a bunch of colored polka dots. I don't know if you guys can see the whole thing there. Anyway, so the next step is we notice that this stanza went with this stanza. Make sure I got my colors right here. Okay. And then we got, let's go with another bright color here. Let's go with this red's a bright one. This stanza actually matched with this stanza. And that leaves us with this stanza. Oh, those ones are flipped though. That one's, they gotta be flipped. Arrow that way and arrow that way. They gotta flip them. And this one we got there, 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 there. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that all. So we got the first stanza, comes on down to this one, red one, green one. Okay. So now what can we do with this? So what I'm thinking is it kind of seems to me that these lines go with each other. So I'm gonna redraw it to look like this. Let's make sure I get the right direction here. Sorry, like I said, I'm not real tech savvy, so this is all very amateurish. But anywho, so this is what we got. Here's the stanzas that we had to flip one over. I just left them the right way because I don't want to mess the poem, but they go that way. But that's kind of hard to write answers in. But actually, if you line these up differently, that actually forms two X's. I know some people were saying something about the poem uses every letter twice except for X, but this will actually form two X's if you line it up right. So I'm just going to change this to look like that, where I flipped this poem over. I'm sorry, where I flipped this stanza over right here, just so the lines are nice and straight, so we have something to work with. Fix my papers here, and we'll jump in. Actually, I'll just go ahead and use this scrap paper here from my first video that didn't work out. So let's see what we can figure out. These lines must work together. These ingredients must work together. We have, as I have gone alone in there. In where? I've gone alone in there. So why is it that I must go? We're going. I'm going somewhere. Not too sure. And with my treasures bold, and leave my trove for all to seek. For all to seek. Seek, see? Okay. For all to see. So he has his treasures, his trove of treasures is something he can leave, and all are going to look for it. So is it talking about the treasure in the poem? It just doesn't seem like that. If this is a map, he's trying to guide us somewhere. So, you know, America, he's an American, a proud American, fought for the country. Anyway, so yes, we got treasures and we got trove. For all to seek, you know, America's treasures. We've all heard the term America's national treasures is our national park system. It's a place for all of us to go see. You know, it's a trove. There's a whole bunch of them. There's national parks all over. So there's not just one treasure. It's America's national treasures. So there's a trove of treasures. All our national parks. Yeah, you get it. We all go seek them, and he has to leave it. He has to leave it. He can't stay there. So he doesn't. It's not where he lives. And with my treasures bold, you know what? I'm just gonna. I think this means the National Park Service. Stick with me. It might unfold here. We'll see. Anyways, I can keep my secret where the answer I already know. I kind of want to get back to that first line. So if this one is a question and this one helped me with the answer. This one's a question. As I have gone alone in there, this must be the answer. So why is it that I must go? Why? Is that Wyoming? So Wyoming is it that I must go? As I've gone alone in there. Gone where? So Wyoming is it that I'm just going to go with it. Wyoming National Park Service. That's maybe it's confirmation bias. We'll see. We'll keep going. As I can keep my secret where? Well, we already figured the answer I already know. Well, his secret location, if it is a national park in Wyoming, we know it's Yellowstone. But he says the answer I already know. He knows. Yeah, it's got to be Yellowstone. And hint of riches new and old. What are riches new and old? Now, if he's talking about the parks, there's new and old. I've done it tired, and now I'm weak. So if he's done something till he's tired, and he's done it to the point that is weak, it sounds like he's worked a job for 40 or 50 years, or he's been married for 100 years, or I've done it tired, now I'm weak. It seems like he's done something faithfully through life. He's visited the park faithfully. He's been to the park tired. He's been there weak. He's been there many times throughout his life. Hint of riches. Wait a second. Hint of riches new and old. Old and faithfully. Oh my God. He's done it faithfully. Old faithful. Am I wrong about... No. There's no way. At this point, I don't even have to ask. I know. I see, even now, even after knowing this for 3+ almost 4 years, I still second guess it. But I can't deny that. To me, if you're writing a code, you're writing a freaking cipher of some sort. You're being crafty and you play with words. This is what he would do. Begin it. This is the part everybody wants. Begin it where warm waters halt. Where do we begin our treasure hunt? Just heavy loads and water high. How does that... Okay, it doesn't match to a map. I gotta remember that. It's not a place on a map. Not yet. Begin it where warm waters halt. Where do warm waters halt? They halt at dams. We know it's not a dam. They halt at water. Well, you know what? This area I live in is actually created by a great flood that was caused by a giant ice dam. But not in Yellowstone. Huh. Heavy loads and water high. Heavy loads and water. You know what? Water high. That always refers to, it's the old way of saying spring runoff. Water high. High water mark. And heavy loads, every roof in the Rocky Mountains is rated for a snow load. It's literally called snow load rating. Snow is a heavy load. And when snow melts, it becomes water high. Begin it where warm water's hot. Well, warm. You got 3 types of water. You got solid, liquid, and gas. You got frozen, liquid, and steam. Warm water would be the middle one, be liquid. Begin it where liquid waters halt. Well, where it stops. The scientific definition for halt when it comes to water is the precise moment that water molecules freeze. When they go from liquid to frozen, that's called a halt. So when a raindrop freezes and turns into a snowflake, that water, warm water, has halted. This is suggesting snow. That's suggesting snow. I don't know why, but it's snow. Take it in the canyon down. What do we take? We begin something at snow, and we take snow in the canyon down. Well, the creek takes the snow in down the canyon. It melts, runs down. There will be no paddle up your creek. Well, I know in the Yellowstone area, you're not paddling up creeks. You're not putting in boats. Not in the Old Faithful area, anyways. So there'll be no paddle up your creek. But you know what? I looked into the Snow Lodge. Yeah, that's right. There is a snow lodge in the Old Faithful development area in Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming. There is a snow lodge in that area. Snow Lodge rents bicycles. Now, Forrest told us he was worried about car rental records, but was he actually talking about bicycle rental records? You know, you can begin a bike ride at Snow Lodge, and you can take a bike ride in the canyon down. There'll be no paddle up your creek, but you can pedal down the canyon. I'm going with bike. Bicycle. Yep. Take a bike. You take your bike ride. He said if you're walking long distances, you might need a new solution. He also said if you walk more than a mile, well, you're not going to walk more than a mile if you pull into the Snow Lodge parking lot and you walk inside and get on a bike, and you're not walking anymore, you're biking. Yeah. Okay, so we got a bike ride that we're taking in the canyon down. We're not going far, but it's too far to walk. Well, look at that. No, it's too far to walk. Well, maybe it's the perfect distance for a bike ride. The end is ever drawing nigh. Okay, wait. I gotta block this out. I'll just use the book here. We're gonna block all that out. We gotta focus on this. Not far, but too far to walk. The end is ever drawing nigh. So this is it's a distance. The end is ever drawing nigh. That just sounds like it's daunting. It's just taken forever. The end is ever drawing nigh. Oh my God, is this walk or is this bike ride gonna ever end? It sounds like it's a marathon. Marathon, not far, but too far to walk. You don't walk marathons, you run marathons, or you bike ride. Marathons, yes, there's no walking marathons. You bike, you swim, and those are triathlons. But either way, we've got a bike already. We're not walking, not far, but it's too far to. The end is ever. It's a marathon. Sorry if I spelled that wrong. I don't know how to spell, and please forgive me. Put in below the home of brown. Sweetheart, there's nothing out there to bark at. Bayla's finished her peanut butter and is now barking at squirrels, or watching the squirrels play. Anyways, put in below the home of brown. Put in. Now I know put in is like a boating term for launching your boat, but as far as bike rides, you put your bike, maybe you put it into a bike rack or something below the home of brown. From there, it's no place for the meek. Well, meek is mild and mild-tempered and not real bold. We had a bold somewhere else. Yeah, treasure's bold, so you're not supposed to, it's no place for the meek, so don't be meek. You need to be brave. You need to be bold. You need to be brave. Put in below the home of brown. I don't like that word brown. But this is supposed to have, maybe brown is supposed to be brave? Put in below the home of brave. Put in below the home of the brave. Put in below the home of the brave. So put in, that's got to be, that's where you start a boat, a kayaking trip, or a boat, launch a boat. So this is where you start the bike ride. You got to put in, you got to start your bike ride below the home of the brave. So I looked for flags in these areas. Home of the brave, it's got to be a U.S. flag. And you want to know what I found? I found that this is supposed to have two ends. Because in the Yellowstone, the Old Faithful Yellowstone Development Area, the Old Faithful Development Area is a snow lodge, but there's also the Old Faithful Inn. And the Old Faithful Inn has flags mounted on top of it, including the American flag, Home of the Brave. Put in below the Home of the Brave. The Old Faithful Inn is literally below the flag that is mounted on the roof. And that's where we start our bike ride, to go down the canyon. Oh my God. Old Faithful, A-T-H-F-U-L, Faithful Inn. We got to start our bike ride at the Old Faithful Inn. I want to pull up a map now. Next, if you've been wise and found the blaze, so hear me all and listen good. Found the blaze. Well, if you've been wise, found the blaze. So do we have to be there? So hear me all and listen good. Okay, what can we all hear? Oh, wait a second. The flag. The flag. Every single sporting event in the country that starts off with us pledging allegiance to the flag or singing what's the song? Oh man, I'm terrible terminology. You guys know. Oh, you guys are killing me right now. You're yelling at me. I can hear you. Oh, what is the song? It's our national song. Sorry, my brain doesn't work. Everybody stands and pays attention. Hear me all and listen good. He wants everybody to stand up and pay attention. We all salute the flag. Have you been wise and found? Is the blaze the flag? A blaze? Yes. When you tie loggers, they tie a blaze onto a tree. They're marking. It's a flag. The American flag is the blaze. American flag on top of the inn. Oh, she's getting jealous. Bela, I'll be with you soon, baby. These people need me right now. I hope. I hope they're still with me. Anyways, yeah, I think the blaze, and somebody did ask Forrest that, if the blaze is described in the poem, if we could figure out the blaze is in the poem. He refused to answer that question, now that I think about it. He has no problem answering yes or no. But that question, he had a problem answering it. He didn't want to answer it. He didn't want to give the clue. No, that was about turning back. Somebody also asked him about turning back. If you followed the clues precisely in the poem precisely, would you find yourself doubling back? And he said that he did not want to give that clue away. We'll work with that later. But right now, if you've been wise and found the blaze, so hear me all. The national anthem, that's the word I was looking for. Our national anthem. When we hear that at every sporting event, everybody in the crowd stands up. Except for some, spoiled brat, basketball players and such. But anyways, hear me all and listen good. Pay attention. That's something that this country, this is all about the United States. His love for the country, his love for the national park. I mean, he's got the flag in here. He's got, Old Faithful, Yellowstone National Parks. He told us he was a patriot in here. Look, right on the cover. His flyboy suit. My goodness. Yeah. All right, let's try to keep going here. The flag on top of the Old Faithful Inn. Okay. Look quickly down your quest to cease. Your effort will be worth the cold. Well, because we know it's in the national park now at this point, we know your effort will be worth the cold reception. I think that because the national park service, you have to turn it in, and they're going to keep it until they get Forrest to tell them it's okay to give it to us. It's look quickly down your quest to seize. That means we found it. If we get, what's a marathon? We take the bike ride on a marathon. the blaze is the on top of the Old Faithful Inn, we need a map. Anyways, this is where we look down. So if we're looking up at a flag that is the blaze, then we see it from wherever this takes us, then we need to look down from that spot, and that's going to point right at where the treasure's at. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, and this takes us right to it. Look quickly down. Yeah. That's just straight up instructions. That's not helping us get somewhere, because we've already found the blaze at this point. That's it. Look quickly down. That's just instructions. It's going to be okay. Your effort will be worth the cold, so it's okay. Okay to take it. And then you look down to find it. Yeah, you're at the spot at this point, and now you know you're probably at the spot at this point. And this just tells us what the blaze is, and then this tells us if you found. Yeah, so this is the blaze, the flag. These are instructions to get there. Yes, okay, it's okay to take. But Terry Scant, yeah, don't linger around. If you're brave and in the wood, yeah, you're brave because you found out. Yep, brave. No place for the meek. Yes, it's all right. It's all in the poem. It's a catalyst. It's all there. Oh my God. Okay, just take. Yeah, here we go. Terry, don't linger. Don't linger around staring at it. If you found it, if you were brave and in the wood, then you found it. The group of trees where it's hidden. Yep. Just take the chest and go in peace. I give you title to the gold. Yeah, it's yours. Just take it and go. Yep. So this we got. How many clues? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. If you've been wise, found the blaze. Yep. So hear me all and listen good. Yep. He's telling us right now that the blaze is our national anthem. National. Anthem. Anyways, I sorry, my handwriting's terrible. So let's get back to this where we started. Now that we have that information, we can't mess with the poem. So we need to go back. We need to go back here. And let's see how this information right here will help us here. As I have gone alone in there. He's gone alone into Wyoming. And with my treasures bold. That's National Park Service. I can keep my secret where? His secret location is in Yellowstone. Oops. And hint of riches new and old. Old Faithful. Begin at where warm waters halt. Yeah. You gotta begin it at Snow Lodge. Take your bike down the canyon. Not too far to walk. A marathon. We need to figure that out. You know what? I need a map. I need a map. Let's see if I can pull up a map. Here's Google Earth. Pull it in here. Google Earth. We've got, this is the Old Faithful development area. Old Faithful's right here. You got the Snow Lodge right here. This is where you rent bicycles. And then right over here is the Old Faithful Inn, and it has flags on top of it. Let's see if it'll let me. I don't know how to pivot this one. Anyways, there's flags mounted on top of the Old Faithful Inn. So what our instructions have said so far: National Park Service, Yellowstone, Old Faithful development area, Snow Lodge right here. Rent a bike, take it in the canyon down. So we have to go down the canyon. Firehole River runs that direction. So anyways, you take your bike from the Snow Lodge and you head down the canyon down this way. This is the main path that goes down through all the geysers and everything. Anyways, so that's where we're headed. We've got Snow Lodge. We take the bike in the canyon down. We're just going to zoom in a little bit here. We're trying to figure out something that has to do with marathon. So we go down, follow on the path. I'm just going to go ahead and zip on up here because I already know the answer. The answer I already know. So anyways, take it all the way down. Come to this little pull-off here by Riverside Geyser. Okay, it's finished loading. I don't know where the screen was at. I played with it a little bit. But anyways, we came down the path to this area, and we're looking for something that has to do with marathon or a daunting task. And I came down and I started exploring the geysers. And as we zoom in here, oh, I don't know, it's not going to blow up the letters. Let's see if I can just get this closer. Oh, now it disappeared. There it is. Oh, it keeps disappearing on me. Anyways, I don't know if you can read it, but that says Marathon Pool. We take our bike, we get our bike ride, we take our bike in the canyon down to a place called Marathon, and there it is, Marathon Pool. This is the turnout for the Riverside Geyser. The Riverside Geyser's right here. So I thought, there's no way this can be his spot. I mean, there's millions of people go through here all the time, but even they even have like 25 benches right there, so that people can watch the Riverside Geyser go off. And what's really special about the Riverside Geyser, besides being another predictable geyser, is that when it goes off, when you're over the viewing area and the sun's coming from the south, the right direction, the Riverside Geyser actually produces 2 rainbows every time it erupts. Forrest said before the poem is that this will lead us to the end of his rainbow. And so far, the poem has led me to Marathon Pool, which is right there. If you're headed to Riverside Geyser to go, if that's where his rainbows are, you have to go to Marathon Pool. So now we're going to zoom way out. We're going to keep, oh, there it is. It's lit up. Well, thanks, Google Earth. It disappeared again. We're going to get this map just right. Over here, we have the Old Faithful Inn. I probably should put a drop pin. Do another drop pin and measure. And, oh, there it gives me. Just got to put that right in the middle of the screen there. I guess this is the best way to do it. There we go. Come on. Oh, it's not going to stay. Oh. Add point. Done. Okay, now we have a nice yellow line for line of sight to look for the flag on top of the Old Faithful Inn. Now you're going to say, why would he put the blaze? Why would the blaze be so far away? Well, here's the thing. Is I actually learned this years ago when I was a teenager working on golf courses. When you're mowing you wonder how they get that grid pattern in the grass on golf courses and baseball fields? Well, they have to keep the mower going a straight line. The best way to make your mower stay in a straight line over a long distance is you need to find a point a long ways away. And the more you focus on that point as you're going towards it, the straighter your line will be. If you detour from that point that's a long ways away, your line will show it. And if you pick a point that's too close and you try to correct your distance, your corrections will show up in the lines. So you can't pick a point that's close by to make somebody look a straight line. That point that they need to be going towards needs to be a long ways away. And believe it or not, when you I've been down there. Of course, I went and checked out my solve. I went to see if this would play out. When you get to the Marathon Pool, you take some looking, but you get over right about here, you can see the flag on top of the Old Faithful Inn. You can see all 6 flags up there. You can see the Old Faithful Inn. And if you think about it, this path right here used to be the main road going to the Old Faithful Inn back in the 30s and 40s. So if that's the way to West Yellowstone. So if you're coming from West Yellowstone, you just got in town from Texas, you set up, you spend the night in your cabin, and you're heading into the park for the first time for the summer vacation. You're coming down this road right here that's now a bike path, but it used to be the main road, and you would turn off in this turnout and park and check out Riverside Geyser to the double rainbows, and that would be your first. That's the first time you can see the Old Faithful Inn from a distance. So that would be like coming home. If this is his favorite magical land as a child, and it would be. The geysers going off, the big giant log cabin, Old Faithful Inn. I mean, it's still magical to this day for me as a 45-year-old man. It's magical going inside that Old Faithful Inn. And to see the double rainbows as a kid, and I mean, you are in your paradise. I can totally understand what it was like cruising an old Model A or Model T car around this corner at 25 miles an hour Pulling in there, your first glimpse of the Old Faithful Inn for summer vacation. The family's all there. You pull over, you have a picnic here, you check out Riverside Geyser, see your double rainbows before you go on up and check out Old Faithful and spend the rest of the day up there. And then the rest of the trip will be fishing. Anyways, this is my thoughts on it. Yes, so when you get down here, you can see the flag. You can see the blaze from Marathon Pool. And there's not a well-beaten trail. There's just animal trails. You're not supposed to go off trail through here. Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze. You got to do something. You got to be brave. You got to go off trail. Even Forrest said that you're not supposed to go off trails in most areas, but sometimes you just do. He couldn't very well hide the treasure out here where the park benches are. Somebody would have seen it. They would have seen disturbed ground. Even if it not the visitors to Yellowstone Park, the National Park Service, they have to do things down here. People throw trash. They have to walk around and pick up trash. And he had to put it somewhere where it was going to last 1,000 years. But he had to put it somewhere in his favorite spot where he could see this has to be his favorite spot. It has to be. Everybody thinks it has to do with fishing, but trust me, I was a hunter for many years, and even though I still like hunting, it's no longer my passion. But a childhood memory of rolling into this magical land that was like it was like Disney World for him. This has to be a spot, and he couldn't put. He planned to die with it, so he had to put his body and the treasure somewhere where nobody's going to stumble on it. And these little groups of trees right here would be the perfect spot. Nobody's going to stumble in there, unless the park ranger had to go out there for some other reason. No person's going to go over here. There's nothing to see over here. There's no geysers. The spot's right there. That's what everybody's looking at. It's like a magician. It's look this way, but this is going on over here. To me, this has got to be it. If you are brave and in the wood, if you've gone off trail and you're in the trees, in the wood, I think it's this little spot. I think it was right inside this group of trees. I imagine it would be a spot where he could see the geyser and that he could also look back clear over here and see the Old Faithful Inn. The Old Faithful Inn back in the 30s, it was the most magical building in the entire park, in this entire state of Wyoming. It was the first main structure. So how is it going to last 1,000 years? Oh, yeah, forest fires can come through. Well, that's the funny thing. In 1988, when Forrest finally decided that he was going to do this, a major wildfire had ripped through the upper geyser basin. That's what they call this, the Old Faithful development. A giant fire ripped through there, just devastated everything. They kept the Old Faithful Inn standing. That was their main goal. Since then, they've actually added, let's see if we can see it on Google Earth here. They've actually added, yep, you can see them right there, running along the ridge lines. That line, let me get a better pointer. This little black line running across the ridge that doesn't end with the sloped ridge right there, it keeps going. It comes across the top here, comes all the way down, drops down a level, goes across. That's a fire system. It comes down over this side. That's a sprinkler system. They have sprinklers built onto the buildings now in Yellowstone to keep that, because of that 1988 fire. The one that made him want to put the treasure chest out there. His favorite place was destroyed, and he almost lost the building that was his. Yeah, I don't know. It all makes sense to me. I'm sorry to keep rambling on. Looking at the camera now, this is over an hour long. So it basically, this is all I had to share for you. I can ramble about it all day, tell you all how excited I am. We'll finish this up, I guess, real quick. Marathon Pool. So we now have a place to start at the Snow Lodge. We know we're taking a bike ride, and we're taking it to the Marathon Pool. We look back to the home of the brave. Oops, I forgot a letter. Home of the brave, which is the flag on top of the Old Faithful Inn. Basically, at the end of the day, this is all you needed to know, but you needed all this other information to get to this and know what to do. From there, there's no place for the meek. Yep, don't linger around. Or, I'm sorry, you got to go off trail. Let's just put that there. Off trail. End is ever drawing nigh. That's where we found out it was Marathon Pool. That was part of that one. Anyways, yeah. Like I said before, these clues, they all help each other. It all works together. It all works together. To me, there's no way to unsee it. There's very few clues, very few words in the poem that don't help you get there. Well, we pretty much used everything to get us to this point. We didn't use this very bottom part. We didn't use very much, but all of this helped us get to what we have here. So, anyways, Merry Christmas all. I hope this can give some of you closure. I just wanted to get enough. You take it for what you want. Play with it. Seriously, tell me if I got something wrong. If I'm not right on this, I would love to be shown wrong. I would love to be shown something different. Show me how these lines work together any different than this. The fact that this whole stanza matches with this whole stanza, and this one matches with this one. I mean, you cannot deny this structure. It's right there. I think so anyways. I'm sorry. I get excited. This is my opinion. Play with it. Enjoy it. Look into it. Hopefully it gives you some closure. It did for me. I can understand why the National Park Service doesn't want a bunch of us treasure hunters going and beating up the area around Marathon Pool. I mean, but to tell you the truth, there's no reason to. There's really no reason. Oops, now it's wanting to do that. There's no reason to go off in the trees right here. Oh, well, now that my tablet wants to turn sideways to look at things, let's zoom in on the Old Faithful Inn here. Oh, now it doesn't. Oh, now it's not going to do it. How did it tip a second ago, but now it doesn't tip? There it tips. Oh, no, 3D imaging isn't showing the flags. But anyways, I'm sure you guys know how to do research. You've been in this game as long as I have. So play with it. Tell me I'm wrong. I appreciate it. I would, at this point, I'm kind of excited to see what everybody has to say about this. So I guess I'll get back in the game for a little bit. I'm going to post this on X. I probably won't post it to YouTube. I'm not a fan of YouTube as much anymore. So I'll just post it on X for now. If not enough people can find it on X, then I guess I'll share it on YouTube, or maybe give somebody else permission to share it on YouTube. But all these thoughts, I'm not guaranteeing this is the solve. I'm not guaranteeing anything. All I'm saying is this is what I found. This is my opinion. Please don't go destroy the area around Marathon Pool because I said it was there. It just, none of that matters. The chest has been found. All the information is in the poem. This is the only solve I have came up with that has all the information in the poem. We did not use anything besides a little bit of imagination and a tiny bit of research. I had to research. Well, first of all, when I found out Old Faithful area and the next clue came up as snow, I actually wasn't even using maps at that time. I told myself no maps, no looking at nothing until we get it all figured out. Until I get it all figured out. I call myself me and my dog. But anyways, at that point, I broke my own rule. When I found out Old Faithful area, that all made sense, but snow wasn't making any sense. And that's when I learned about the Snow Lodge. And then I thought, why would we have to start at the Snow Lodge? And what are we taking? And so I thought that maybe there was a snowmobile rental, is what I actually thought, because it was winter time, and I was thinking, the only way in the park is snowmobiles. And I looked, and they didn't have snowmobile rental, but they had bicycle rental. And then it made sense. Once I found out that the Snow Lodge had bicycle rental, oh look, it's been another hour. We got the chimes again. Take it, begin it, and take it made sense. Let's take a bike ride. It just made sense. It makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. If you have any questions, try and ask them. I'll try and or ask them. I'll try and respond. I guess that's all I have to say. Good luck, treasure hunters. Merry Christmas. I hope this can help some of you and give some of you closure, or at least give your brains something else to chew on for a little while. We all like new news in the chase community. So hopefully this can be a benefit to some of you. That's my whole goal here, was to just share it with the community, and I actually look forward to hearing what some of y'all have to say. So you guys take care. Merry Christmas, and I hope 2024 is an amazing year for y'all. Take care now.